I got one right here. Well, that's not a bad start right there. I'm Alton Jones this morning, your personal bass coach on mybasscoach.com. And I want to talk to you a little bit about fishing standing timber and extreme heavy cover. You know, one of the problems for us as anglers is that when you get in an area that has extreme amounts of cover like what we're in right now, it can be overwhelming. How do you know where to start? What makes a good area of timber better than other areas of timber? What makes a bad area of timber? And why is where I just caught that fish, why is that a good spot and some other places may not be? And the basic rule of thumb that I like to use is this, and we're going to show you this on some maps in a few minutes. I like to really pay more attention to the bottom of the lake than I do the fact that there's a lot of standing timber here. In fact, I like to try to picture what this lake would look like if it did not have any timber at all, and then figure out where would be the good places to fish if there was no timber. And I promise you, those are going to be the best places to fish even with the timber and even with heavy cover. And you can see right now, up in all this timber, one of the things that I like to do is try to find pieces of cover that are away from the main area of cover. You see behind it there's a huge, several hundred acres of flooded timber, just vast amounts. But if you can find isolated targets that are located out and away from the main cover that are perhaps a little bit deeper or a little closer to deep water, those are going to be key places for maybe a big fish to set up. So that's the type of place that I'm looking for when I've got an abundance of timber also. Isolated piece of cover that's located a little bit further away from the rest of the cover. You know, anytime you have small, sparser pieces of cover, isolated pieces of cover that extend out from the main area, those are going to be key targets. That's what I would call a high percentage place for a big fish to sit. For one thing, it's usually closer to deep water, and it may be even a little bit deeper itself, which just makes it more appealing for a big fish than say to be up in there and all that scattered timber. Another thing I want you to notice about this particular area right here, I want you to see how this scattered timber comes out and makes a little point. You can literally almost picture how the deep water swings around it. So it's got deep water access on multiple sides. So anywhere you can find that the timber makes a point, any kind of cover you're fishing, don't fish long, straight stretches of bank of nothingness. You want to fish key little places where you have points. Any place where the timber makes a swing out, where it makes a turn in or a turn out, you do that, you're going to be putting a lot more and a lot bigger fish in your live well. You know, this is a great example of the type of timber I probably don't want to fish. I want you just to notice how long and straight this particular area is. There's no irregular features, nothing to make it stand out. Now, does that mean there's not some bass along here? Absolutely not. There probably are a few. But we're looking for efficiency. We're looking to put the percentages in our favor. And your high percentage fishing areas are not going to be the long straight stretches, but the places where you have the nice little well-defined points, places that give the fish good deep water access. That's where you want to spend your time. The thing I want all of you to take away from this is that I want you to fish smarter. I don't want you to waste a bunch of time frivolously fishing down a long straight stretch of bank. But we need to learn as fishermen to fish, not just cast better and do the technical things right, but to fish smarter as we choose the locations where we're going to fish. You see, fishing is a numbers game, and if you can put the percentages in your favor and make every cast that you make a potentially productive one, then your odds go way up and you have a distinct competitive advantage over the rest of the field.